are healthy for humankind or at least cause no harm, such as ambidexterity. There are other deviances that occur naturally in the same way that cystic fibrosis occurs naturally, which are most certainly not for the betterment of the organism. A condition deviance might include such things as acquired tastes, cultural predispositions, or belief in religion. For this work, I will be focusing on psychological, sexual deviance, or brain chemistry or alternate behavior states having to do with the drives that involve the mental and physical pleasures associated with the procreative process. An example of a benign deviation might be a foot fetish, which is relatively harmless, while malignant deviation might be sadism, which by definition causes harm. Regardless of the source of the deviation, its moral value is based on the behavior. Acquired tastes or genetic predispositions are not wrong unless they inspire behaviors that are wrong. There is also a dilemma regarding whether one who is born with a genetic deviation attempts to pass that deviation on to those who are not predisposed. For example, we may see no harm in foot fetishes, but if a teacher was training the children in his high school to be a foot fetishist, we would be concerned. Bestiality is a malignant deviation. It can be either natural or conditioned, but never has positive moral value. The danger of tolerating or promoting these deviant actions is setting a precedent that could lead to unforeseen dire consequences. Much like how we wouldn't want to encourage a phobia of spiders, we should not allow the promotion of bestiality. I foresee significant resistance to these statements when taken out of context. Human sexual deviance, whether benign or malignant, is diverse. It is important to remember that so long as these deviations promote the happiness of those involved, all of those involved, then the moral implications are benign, or at least amoral. A homosexual relationship, while not a societal one, has no negative consequence. Voyeurism, so long as it is in the confines of an appropriate establishment, is benign, but peeping into a person's window is evil. Premise 5, moral identity. Finally, I would like to address the morality within these contexts. Morals exist as human constructs. While a few morals are dogmatic, most are perfectly rational rules for dealing with others. They are rules of conduct to ensure the good order, discipline, and social awareness of everyone in a social context. The rule against bestiality is a good example of a moral law that is entirely divorced from dogma. Morality is not law, but lawmakers are moral agents and use morality to create legislation. During the research for this work, I encountered a number of attempts to defend bestiality. I will reply to a few of those arguments here. The most common counter to the consent argument is that no beast necessarily consents to death, yet we still allow the killing of animals by humans. They therefore conclude that the moral degradation of humankind is already assured, and that by proxy we should allow bestiality based on the fact that we've already provided this freedom. I agree that human beings kill beasts for any myriad of reasons, to include pleasure, with little concern for the moral consequences. Beasts are often treated poorly, tortured, and put to death for reasons ranging from pure survival to mere inconvenience. I do not deny that the killing of a beast for absolutely no reason is an evil act. In fact, I would consent to a number of arguments for the rights of beasts. But it is understandable why humans keep cattle for consumption. It is very easy for morally guided human beings to want to end this practice, but it is not impossible to see why it started. I see very little resistance by animal lovers to owning pets, but if all human rights are extended to beasts, would this activity be slavery? Possibly, but it is socially acceptable, selfishly indulgent, and causes little harm. So many pet owners feel no moral compulsion to end this practice. I have two caveats to this idea. The first is that there are otherwise fully moral agents that cause great harm to their pets for the purposes of beauty or utility. Poodles and horses can harm. Unfortunately, it is all too common for humans to do that to themselves and their own children as well, making this a problem that must be addressed broadly. Also, there are certain cases where pet owners have caused great harm, but not strictly because they are pet owners, but because they are abusers and degenerates, not who happen to own pets. Caveats aside, the issue is that killing and ownership have less moral apprehensibility because the act can be possibly justified. Rape, no matter what the circumstances, is never justified. Rape cannot ever serve a positive purpose, and if ever someone tries to justify rape, the individual is so morally bankrupt at the core that they see the evil in the action. 1,000 deaths do not equal, qualitatively, a single act of rape. Therefore, the claim that allowing the killing of beasts sets precedent for allowing the sexual abuse of beasts is groundless. The second claim is that of the conscientious zoo. This is the one who chooses only beasts and circumstances that fit certain criteria. For instance, the beast is of an appropriate size to be free from harm. It seems to take pleasure and even be excited by the act. Acts are conducted under the strictest privacy. The individual uses careful prophylactics to stave off the possibility of disease, or chooses to maintain a monogamous relationship with the beast, etc. At first glance, this seems to be very convincing. Unfortunately for the zoophiliac, the dilemma still exists. One could use all of these conditions perfectly, transposing the word beast with child. If this does not make a rational agent's stomach turn, then I have no argument that will convince him otherwise. Also, assuming the correct and healthy amount of human moral intuition, the zoophiliac will always know that they are deviant. Psychological damage is significant. If moral intuition is lacking, then the problem isn't that the person is a good zoophiliac, but that they are a bad person. In conclusion, I can dismiss this bestiality as an act of an insanely evil instinct for selfish and evil purposes. It serves no end other than to further the immoral aspirations and achieve sexual gratification through the exercise of power over beasts. The damage done is greater than any possible individual benefit and never serves the better well-being of the animal, the perpetrator, or society. Thank you.